I can't ignore that we're all living in our own bubbles these days, or we can see the other bubbles that people are living in. This might not be something that has just happened because of politics in recent months. I think it's something that's been happening for a long time, that we find ourselves in our own bubbles. So much to the point that I see bubbles all over the world and individual bubbles that people live in that I feel as if we're soaking in a bubble bath. So I wanted to do a whole series of work called bubble baths. For example, the one next to me is called Swiss Herb Bubble Bath. And that's about my friends. It's actually called Swiss Herb Bubble Bath, My Homies. The one next to me is called Tangerine Scream Bubble Bath. And the parenthesis title next to that is Casino Gangster, just because I've seen a few casino gangsters in my day, having trips to Las Vegas and various places like that. And this is their bubble that they live in, hot and orange. And then there's two others over there. The other one is called Chanel No. 5 Bubble Bath. Uptown Art Ladies. Uptown Art Ladies was a term we used in the 80s a lot about the collectors who were above 14th Street in New York, who came down below 4th Street when it was very dangerous to buy art. But thank God we had those Uptown Art Ladies, because they're the ones that made the art that we were making at the time exciting, new, and part of the art market. The one next to that, which is called Dog Pound Flavor Bubble Bath, that one, the parentheses title is Venice the Menace. So this is about the bubble in Venice, of people in Venice. It's kind of a dog pound gangster kind of thing in Venice. And Venice is kind of a menace to the rest of the world's thinking, because we have kind of an open way of seeing the world here. So it's all the individual bubbles around the world, and I'm going to keep going until I come up with enough bubbles that people live in that I feel comfortable that I've explored the work. So I'm just getting into this. But I've also created this small group of paintings entitled The Real McCoy Bubble Bath. The reason I came up with this body of work goes back to the very first day I met Sparky. I've told the story over and over about how I met him. I don't know how many times, though, I've told the story of what happened when I actually met him, besides his reaction to why didn't you copy the work? Why is this like another version of my work? Most people come in here and show me copies of my work, which impressed him, and he took me into his studio. Well, what happened in that studio? He wanted to show me how to draw a line. And I'm like, I'm an academic painter. What do you mean you're going to show me how to draw a line? So he showed me this test that he did when he was a child, that his teacher taught him, which was to draw something 3 times. So what we were doing is drawing sets of lines 3 times. We would draw straight lines, set of 3. We'd draw a set of wiggle lines. We'd draw a set of fat lines, set of 3. We'd draw skinny lines. And I thought, okay, I get it. I get what he's showing me. He's showing me how many different kinds of lines there are. And then I realized, no, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. He was showing me the integrity of line. He was showing me the authenticity of line. He was showing me the authenticity of his line in particular. And that is that if you draw 3 straight lines and you go back and look at each of those 3 straight lines, each one of them has been drawn different. One might just have a slight curve to it. One might just have a slight bend to it. One might be just a touch thinner than the other one, but all 3 lines are different. The one thing I remember about his criticism about my drawing was, or his direction, I should say, was that make sure that you're seeing the same thing differently. And that became a foundation of my paintings of the last 29 years, of doing the same thing in a new way, of seeing the same thing grow and be seen differently. So I thought I owe him something for this integrity of line that he taught me. And I wanted to do something that represented the authenticity that happened in that meeting.